Wow, it's been a while since I had a look at r/fakedisordercringe, so let's take a look, shall we? Oh no. Well, that's not good at all. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are returning to r/fakedisordercringe. It has been a little while since I had a look at this subreddit, so I thought I would just check in to see how it's doing. I kind of got bored of it, things fizzled out and it wasn't really interesting, it was the same old stuff, but it's been a couple of months since I actually had a look at it, so let's just take a look at it, shall we? Oh boy.
Do you wear wigs?
No, I do not.
Have you worn wigs?
No, I have not.
You are a beautiful man. A beautiful man. Will you wear wigs?
Maybe.
Off to a good start then. So we have a post of someone asking someone if they have autism, that person saying no, them saying, do you rub your feet together in bed, as if that's a diagnosis of autism. What bothers me about posts like these is that we have seen a lot of posts now. When I've been going through these fake disorder cringe, there's a lot of posts from people saying that you shouldn't tell people that they don't have autism or that they are faking and all of that. Regardless, whatever. They're saying that fake claiming is bad, all of that, you know? Even when things are blatantly incorrect, there is no diagnosis, etc. The fake claiming is bad thing rings out throughout all of the faking community. And yet, they accept and have no issue with telling people who are not diagnosed and who say they do not have something. They have no issue with telling those people that they have it. Okay? You can't say that I am not allowed to accuse someone of lying about having a mental illness for clout, which is a popular and current thing, and then go around telling people who do not have something that they have something. That is a double standard and is hypocrisy. This next one, there were a lot of pages to this one, but this one really stood out to me. It was doing the whole trans autism, trans-abled, all of that kind of thing, which I've talked about previously, which is people who are not disabled, who are trans-abled and therefore feel like they should be disabled because they want to, you know, use wheelchairs and lifts and just all, they want people to believe that they are disabled in public so that they get the perks of being disabled without actually being disabled, essentially. Anyway, I was going through these pages because they had multiple flags of various trans-abled things, and there was disabled fluid, and that one really stood out to me because not only are they now not even committing to permanently being disabled when they're not disabled, which they probably weren't anyway, but disabled fluid implies that depending on the mood or how they are feeling that day, they could identify as disabled or not. And once again, taking a legitimate gender term, something that people actually identify with, and sullying it with pretending to be disabled. That just doesn't sit right with me. That just does not sit right with me. Girl has had that scar all year. This is an interesting one. So, this girl has been either using makeup or Photoshop or both to edit a scar onto all of her pictures. And the positioning of the scar really changes, so it's not a real scar, because that's going all over the place. But like, really? Is that the level we're at now, that like, it's trendy? Oh, it's in a different place now.
There's two girls that do that on TikTok. There's her and there's another one. There's two of them and I frequently see them.
Is it just trendy now to pretend to have scars? I remember in secondary school when people actually had scars, like especially facial scars, it was like a bullied thing. If someone had a facial scar, they got bullied in school, which is not okay. But now probably the same people that did the bullying are going to TikTok and they are pretending to have scars. It's the same people that like probably bullied autistic people are now pretending to be autistic on TikTok, you know? It's just the attention. That's what it is. It's the attention they get makes them want to do it. They bullied autistic people because they weren't getting enough attention at home. And then they realized, oh, autistic people are getting more attention than me. I must be autistic now. Give me attention. And it just like, it's harming people who are actually autistic. And the same goes obviously for every disability or everything like that that is being faked for attention and clout on the internet. It goes for all of them. Autistics create an uncanny valley effect effect. Watch me try and scare as many neurotypicals as possible. Well, the first thing I can say is that there was no uncanny valley effect created here, because the uncanny valley effect is when something looks human but isn't quite human and it upsets our brains, but this is very clearly a human. One of the primary identifiers in the uncanny valley effect is the eyes. People don't like things that have slightly human but not quite human eyes, and those are human eyes. But also, even if there was an uncanny valley effect created here, even if she did manage to creep people out by not quite looking human, it's not because she's autistic, it's because she's got a ton of makeup on in the attempt to make her look like a doll. That's not because she's autistic, it's because she's covered in makeup. I don't understand how she's making that like autistics create an uncanny valley effect. She says, well, caked in makeup to make her look not quite human. It's not because she's autistic.
Autistically eating
How do
mini
you
pretzels.
autistically eat mini pretzels? I eat mini pretzels like that. Loads of people eat mini pretzels like that. I imagine plenty of neurotypical people eat mini pretzels like that. This is like taking a Kit Kat, you know? A lot of people bite the chocolate off the edges of Kit Kats, you know? I do that. That's like taking that and going, if you do this, you're autistic. If you eat food like the majority of people do, you must be autistic. Whoa. No, you can't just autistically eat mini pretzels. That's not a thing. Self-diagnosed people should be allowed to speak on behalf of autistic issues. This is funny considering that about 5 minutes ago we saw a post where someone was asking what they could self-identify as to be able to use slurs. Self-diagnosis is not a diagnosis. It's the first step to getting one, but it isn't the last step. If you are using self-diagnosis as the first and only step, then you're using it wrong. It's okay to be like, I think I have autism, and to then look into things to help with that, look into professional help and get a diagnosis, but it's not okay to just be like, I'm autistic, and then just leave it at that, never do anything, and then go, I believe I should be able to speak on the behalf of autistic people. You might not even have autism. You might have symptoms that relate to it, but you could have so many other things similar to autism. But because you have just self-diagnosed and left it there, you are now using that as a reason to talk on behalf of something that you might not even have. That's stupid. When people start talking about being so OCD or so ADHD, as if you don't have both, and autism, Tourette's syndrome, auditory processing disorder, dyspraxia, depression, PTSD, and 2 separate anxiety disorders. When did being on the internet become who can have the bigger mental disorder salad? It's not a competition, and someone can talk about having OCD or talk about having ADHD without you needing to be like, oh, I have both of those and more. Like, it's not a competition on who has the bigger list. Like, even if this woman does have all of these things, I can't say. If she does, that still doesn't give her the right to use that as if it makes her superior over someone who just has OCD or ADHD. That doesn't make you better than them. In fact, the fact that you're using that to one-up them definitely doesn't make you better than them. One day in 6th grade, I was in the car and my mum was driving me back home from school. She told me it's normal to have different personalities at school, at church, at home. I think what she was trying to say is that she knew I had dissociative identity, she knew I was abused, and she was part of covering it up. I don't think that's what she was saying at all. If I'm being honest, I think she was just talking about the fact that people act differently depending on the social circles they're in, which is absolutely normal. I used to go to church growing up, I went to school, I acted completely different at school around my friends than I did at church. That's just about being in the environment you're in, and I'm pretty sure that's what she was talking about.
Here are 5 ways to tell if you're neurodivergent. If you find what I'm about to do funny in any way, then you're freaking neurodivergent.
Well, that settles it then. I'm neurotypical, apparently. It's been proven. Wow, darling. I need you to take a test for me. This is a test to determine whether you're really neurodivergent or not. That's it. That's the test.
What? What did she just throw a sock on the floor?
Yeah. She threw a sock on the floor and gestured to it.
I don't understand.
You must be neurotypical.
I know there are lots of things that like neurodivergent people do that make no sense to like autistic people, like just standing in front of each other and doing that with no context. Like we find that hilarious, but that's not that. And I don't know.
Clearly you're just neurotypical.
Yeah, clearly I've just
You
like, the
with-
autism has dissipated.
Yeah,
out of my
you
mind.
with an autism diagnosis have now been cured
By the sock.
by the
The
sock.
sock has cured.
And the final post of the video. Autistic fandom, what are your thoughts on this fork?
Wait, I have very strong opinions on forks.
Well, here's the thing though, the fork isn't even what I wanted to talk about, because you can like forks or not, like whatever.
Yeah.
Is that an autism thing? I don't know. What gets me isn't them saying, autistic people, what do you think about this fork? They said autistic fandom.
Oh, I didn't even
So
process that.
if that doesn't just admit that this is just people obsessing over and wanting to be autistic when they're not really autistic, they just called it a fandom. How else could you interpret that? We got him. That settles this. It do kind of be a cool fork though. Like I kind of like
it's
it,
a cool fork.
but like yeah.
We're not a fandom, buddy.
Autistic fandom. That's the new name. It's no longer,
We're not people. We're a fandom.
yeah. And that's where I'm gonna end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Oh boy, that was interesting returning to Fake Disorder Cringe. It's the same. It's all the same stuff. It hasn't changed. So great. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Special thank you to all of my supporters. All of your names are on screen right now. Genuinely, it means so much. You guys help so much. So thank you to all of you people. You are all wonderful people. If any of you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. You'll get a special Patreon role, or I should make a YouTube member role. I could possibly just give them the same role. But either way, let me know if you don't have the role and I'll give you the role. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.